We have this story that's coming out of Texas. It's about a football player being stabbed by another student that went to another school. They're at a track meet, and for whatever reason, they get into it. One kid gets stabbed, and a lot of people are making this about race. But I'm going to say this seems like something is missing in this story. We're going to read it, we're going to get all the context, and then you guys can tell me if it makes sense to you. So this is coming from the New York Post. It says a high school football star was stabbed in the heart and died in the arms of his twin brother after a fight over a seat at a track meet. So he was attending the track meet on April 2nd. The guy that got stabbed was in his team's tent, in his school's tent. So he's not on the track team, but he was in the tent, and a fight broke out between him and a 17-year-old at another school. It says Anthony, who was the guy that committed the murder, a 17-year-old at Centennial High School, just 5 miles away, was allegedly told he was sitting in the wrong seat. He then allegedly drew a knife and pierced Metcalf through the heart. So that's what's being reported. It doesn't sound like all the context is there to me. That could be all the context. There are crazy people in the world that you should just avoid. But as we read through this, because I did do the required reading ahead of time, as we read through this, we're going to get more details. And you tell me if this sounds plausible. It is possible, absolutely. But you tell me if this sounds plausible, that he just walked up, informed the guy, hey, man, you're sitting in the wrong seat, and then got stabbed. That's what's being reported, but it doesn't sound like all the details and context are there to me. So he had his twin brother that was in the vicinity, and he said after the stabbing happened, he tried to turn around and help his brother, and unfortunately, his brother ended up dying in his arms. So of course, any situation where somebody passes away, we have to be cognizant of the fact that this affects not only the person that passed away, but their family. His own twin brother had to sit there and hold him while he lost his life. That does absolutely suck. So I'm not taking the responsibility of what happened off the guy that committed the stabbing. Absolutely, it's a horrible situation, and a lot of people are going to be traumatized by the fact that this happened. I'm not taking any of that away. It says it was under 30 seconds. I had never met this kid in my life. This is the brother speaking, of course. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. And then the other guy made a move. All of a sudden, he grabbed his backpack. And just seconds in the tussle, Hunter said Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed his brother in the chest. So somebody initially told Anthony to move. He said, I'm not moving. So the brother, Austin Metcalf, tried to step in and escalate the situation. He tried to resolve the situation. I was like, hey, you're going to move. And there was a tussle between them. Anthony went in his bag. He stabbed him. Like we said, this is possible, but it doesn't seem plausible. It doesn't seem like we're getting all the context there. Now, they said that the school is 5 miles away. So there could be that there was some sort of school rivalry there. Anthony is being antagonizing by sitting in the school's area that he doesn't belong to. These things do happen. There are like this high school rivalry type of situation where, you're fired up about your school. You're fired up about the fact that, hey, this is our seat and you're disrespecting it. That type of stuff does happen. I don't know specifically if that's the case here. We don't have all of that context. It could be, we're making some assumptions. It could be the case that was happening. Anthony was being antagonized and sitting in the school's area. Some people were like, hey, we're going to get him out of here. And then it just escalated to the point of no return. So right now, Anthony is being charged with first-degree murder. He's being held on a bail set at $1 million. And the father of the twins is asking, what was this kid's life like? Like, how did we get to this point? Who raised him to react in this way? He says, I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this kid have? What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. The guy was in the wrong place and they asked him to move and he bowed up, became angry and aggressive. This is murder. You know what? I already forgave this person. Already. God takes charge of things. God takes care of things. God is going to take care of me. God is going to take care of my family. So the father asks, what kind of parents did this kid have? How did they raise him? And we get a little more context further down. The father, Anthony, says he is a good kid and maintains that he did not start the fight that broke out between the two boys. Carmelo was not an aggressor. He was not the one that started it. He works 2 jobs. He's an A student with a 3.7 GPA. So what we're learning as this story continues to develop is both of these guys were star athletes at their school. So what we're learning as this story starts to develop is they were both star athletes at their school. One had a 4.0, one that had a 3.7. They both played sports. I don't know that they knew each other or had any crossing or anything like that. This sounds to me like it was like some sort of antagonizing activity by a rival student at another school, and it kind of just spiraled out of control. We don't know for sure what happened in that tent between the time that they asked the guy to move and the time that the stabbing happened, right? We don't have all of those details, but I'm going to be honest with you. This entire story reminds me of another story that I heard maybe about a year ago. Me and my wife watched a video about it. There was a guy who got in an argument with a teen in an alleyway because there was a car pulled into the crosswalk or something like that. They end up getting into an argument. The bigger guy goes to tackle the smaller guy and ends up getting stabbed. So of course, the guy that did the stabbing, he was charged. It later comes out that the bigger guy was the aggressor. He said some racial slurs to the guy. He tried to tackle him. And then in that instance, the other guy, he had a knife and they ended up calling it self-defense. At the end of the day, we're not victim blaming. Somebody did end up losing their life. And I'm sure all of this went further than what it needed to go. So the guy, he is going to go to jail, rightfully so. You can't just stab people. Unless you were in imminent danger, you can't just go around stabbing people because they're arguing with you and you feel like you want to poke your chest out and defend yourself. But I feel like there is some context missing here. It's a 4.0 student and a 3.7 GPA student. And I feel like there's more going on to the story than this guy was just asked to move out of a seat, end up stabbing somebody. Of course, the details are going to come out. We're going to find out everything that actually happened. And if he did take the situation too far based on the context of everything that ends up coming out, then it is what it is. He's going to jail where he should be. But you got two students that seem to be doing well in school, seem to be athletes that could go to the collegiate level. I know the guy that stabbed the other guy, Anthony, Carmelo Anthony, he did have D3 offers because he was a senior. So he did have some of those D3 offers. I'm not sure what the other guy had, but these seem to be star athletes at their school. And the situation devolved into something barbaric. So we got to wait for all of the details. But as of right now, he's being charged for a stabbing that he did. And we're going to find out if it was justified or if it wasn't. I don't think this was a race-based thing. Of course, we got to wait for all the details to come out, but the internet is saying, oh, he stabbed him because he's an aggressive black man. And then, of course, on the other side, they're saying he got stabbed because they were being mean to him or they were being racist towards him and he felt like he had to defend himself. Okay, we don't have those details. They could very be the case, but until we have the details, we're going to hold off judgment, at least on this channel. But that's the story. It's coming out of Texas. There is a teen that ended up losing his life and a teen that's being charged with murder because of a stabbing that occurred at a track meet. One guy at a rival school attending the track meet, sitting in a place that he shouldn't be sitting, ends up getting into an argument with another student and ends up stabbing him. And right now he's being held on a $1 million bail. So it's more to come about this story. I absolutely am interested in seeing how this goes, what all the details are. But if you like this video, like the video. Subscribe to me back here for the next conversation. And if you have something to say it down in the comments. This is the place for discourse. Till next time. Peace.